This is Tim Barry from Holistic Web Presence. In this video, I'm going to take you on a case study all to do with consolidated product pages. And I'm going to show you how we got this massive increase in sales, a big boost in ranking, and an awesome jump in the number of reviews that the client was getting. I'm going to show you using some example stores, not the specific store that we did it on. Clients are funny like that. They don't want to give away exactly what we did for their competition, but the examples I'll give you will give you really good examples of what the store was like before we started working on it and what it ended up looking like. First then, to understand what we did, I need to show you the problem. Here I'm going to show you a couple of e-commerce stores that are just set up poorly so that I can show you what we did and the right way to do it and how we got such a dramatic result. So here's the first one. This is on the Micromatic website, and here's a range of products, and this is pretty typical for a lot of e-commerce stores. What you've got is a set of products which are different options, different products that are very similar, and they group them into what we would call a category page, just a navigational page that allows you to select which one of these products that you might want to know more about or want to select and buy. You might ask, well, what's wrong with that? Well, first thing is what we'll do is we'll take a look at the first product, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it in a new tab. Let's just take a look at the product page. First glance, what have they got? They've got a picture of the product. They've got a overview description, so you can see the description here. They've got specifications and another little tab which is replacement parts. So what's wrong with that, you might ask? Well, let's go back to our category page here, and now let's select the second one in the sequence, and we'll take a look at that one. Now, if I'm a user and I'm looking at these individual products, most people aren't going to do this, right click, open a new tab. What they'll do is they'll start here and they'll think, maybe I want that one. So what they're going to do is they're going to click on that one, and now they're going to look at that and they're going to read it, and they're going to think, well, what's the difference between that and the other one? Well, where is it? Where's the navigation to the other one? I don't see any navigation to the other product. How do I get back to it? And then they're going to have to figure out, well, okay, so they're going to click on back. It's now going to take them to that page. They're now going to have to look at, well, maybe I want to look at this one. And they're going to go to that one. And they're going to wait for that one to open. Now they're going to read that one. But what's the difference between this one and the other one? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. What I've got to do is I've got to click back and go to that one. Now I've got to read this one again. Maybe they're savvy enough to open this in one page and look at it, and then open this in another page and then look at it. So there's a sort of backwards and forwards process that an individual has to go through in order to try and get a sense of what the difference is between these individual products. And the more products you have on here, the more they've got to do that. So just from a product selection and navigational point of view, it's a little awkward and cumbersome. It's not a disaster, but it's not great. It makes selecting a product more difficult. In addition to that, think about it from an SEO point of view. Here we have a collection page, nothing wrong with that. But when we go to the individual products, let's take a look at this content here. So how much content is there on this page associated with this product? Not a lot. So this is what we would typically call a shallow content page. Now multiply that by all the products they've got in a range. How many products do they have that are similar with a small amount of content? Now let's take a look at the individual products and take a look at the difference. Check this out. The content here, it's the same content. So now we've got shallow content, duplicate content problem. So in other words, when you've got a large number of products that are similar to each other, you end up with a lot of duplicate content pages with shallow content on there. Now, anybody that has a basic understanding of SEO is going to know, in order to rank for a particular key phrase, you don't want shallow content pages. You want a really good, rich description. And you don't want to have lots of pages that are very similar with similar content on them, or the same content on them, because Google is not going to know which one to rank. So you've got a duplicate content issue. The way this is set up, it's hard to go and select the product you want. It's hard to compare, well, what's the difference between all the products? The result of all that is less authority for all the pages. Google is going to see all these pages and it's not going to know, well, which is the one that's important for any given search phrase. Whatever you're trying to rank for, it's going to be very difficult for Google to know which one of these. So you're going to end up with a lot of low authority pages and no really good, clear page that is an authority on the key phrase associated with these products. The result is lower rankings. You're going to make it difficult for your purchasers to select the product. You're making the purchasing process harder. a really key and important issue here is reviews. So when you've got this, you've got a product page here for just the one product, no reviews on it, and it's going to be very hard to get reviews on it because somebody would have to review this one, and if they review this one, it's going to be different for the reviews on this one. So you're going to have to get reviews on every single one of these products individually. Now let's look at another example. Here we've got a page with exactly the same thing, multiple products on here. We can click through to any one of these products, and then you've got the same backwards and forwards mechanism, but the issue is magnified on here because where with this example there's really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 products that fit into this category. With this example we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and we've got another page and another page. We've got 16 pages of these rugs that all fit this criteria. And then to select any one of them, you've got to go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Now I'm going to ask Kathleen, my colleague, to take you on a quick tour of the purchasing process on this site.
So with this specific site, which is common with most e-commerce sites, they have the products grouped into categories. In this instance, they're called collections, which you can kind of see up here at the top. And then under each collection is where all the products are. So here we can see grouping of products and a collection page. When we scroll down, we can see there's 6 pages. On this site in particular, and which can often happen on e-commerce sites, you can get 10, 20, tons of pages that you have to go through of products. And the likelihoods that someone's going to click through 20 pages to get to that final product is pretty low. It's a pretty poor user experience, so think about it when you're going shopping. You come in and you're trying to compare products and look through it. If you have to look through the whole warehouse to find what you're looking for, it can get pretty overwhelming. Let's go ahead and let's open up. Let's say we want to compare these 2 rugs. So most consumers are going to click on the product. When we click on it, it takes them to the product page. Now the obvious thing that stands out from this is it's really hard for me to compare this to the green rug now that I'm on a completely different page. I have to get back to the over-dyed rugs, so I either click the back button or I clicked over-dyed rugs. I take a look at this and I go, okay, well what about the green one? I have to go back to over-dyed rugs, so I have to click on that and I have to wait for it to load, and then I'm like, okay, here's the green one, and so I can click on the green one, then it opens up the individual page here. I can say, okay, great, what was it with the blue one again? How much was the blue one priced? It's not the most efficient way for a shopper to go in and be able to compare and purchase a product. Well, this negatively impacts SEO. When you have a ton of pages like this that are all pretty similar, it's an over-dyed rug, the other one was just blue, pretty similar pattern. When they're all very similar, in a way it's almost like they compete against each other to rank for that keyword phrase. So rather than one page being able to have the authority and rank and show up on page 1 in the search results, all of the pages are trying to get that authority and none of them rank and none of them show up, which can impact traffic to the site and people trying to find the exact product that you're advertising for.
You see the problem now. So the problem is you've got lots of duplicate content and lots of shallow content pages. The result of that is that you get less authority on any of the pages. It's harder to create rich content pages because when you think about it, how do you do a good write-up on multiple products when they're all very, very similar, only with slight differences between them? You're going to get lower rankings on all the products as a result of that because no single page has all the authority for a given key phrase. Your reviews are going to be spread out across lots of different products. All in all, it's a poor user experience because it's hard to easily switch between the different products. So what's the solution? Let's look at some examples. Probably a good place to start is with the flagship e-commerce store, Amazon. If you're building an e-commerce store, it's always a good idea to look at how Amazon does it. They have more R&D and testing and resources to get this just right. So let's look at them first. What we call this is a consolidated product page. You can see here what we've got is some women's dresses. And you can see, although the products are all different, all I've got to do to see the different ones is just, I don't even have to click on these. I just move my mouse across and I'm getting the different dresses and the different looks there. So they're different patterns, and also I can get size variations as well within the product selection. So now when you think about it, I can now have a rich content page because I can have content that describes all of the dresses and all of the variations between the dresses. So I can have one nice page that is optimized for a specific key phrase and has all of the authority of all these different products rather than spreading these out into individual product pages, which is the way that's done on the other sites. In addition to that, you can see the reviews here. The reviews aren't for this dress, so this review count isn't changing. So the reviews for this dress also include the reviews for this dress, this dress, this dress, and this dress. So it's much easier to get to a significant number of reviews for the overall product set because you're not spreading your reviews so thin. Let's take a look at another example of this where it's implemented on a different store. So here we go with Rugs USA, similar to the rug store we were looking at earlier, the Rugnut store. Here we've got that rug. Now you can see the difference. I'm thinking maybe I want dark grey, maybe I want a different colour, and I can quickly switch between the two and see what the differences are. Select sizes, got options I can pick, and you can see how that works. So it makes it much easier to see the differences between the rugs and just quickly select the one that I think is most appropriate without this backwards and forwards motion all the time. Let's take a look at one more store that's got it right. That's a different kind of implementation of this consolidated product page. Let's go to Land's End, a clothing store. Here we've got polo shirts. We've got different colors. So when I go between these different ones, and again, I'm not even clicking on it, I'm just hovering over the different one. So I can easily go through and see, well, which one is the one that I want? Which one do I like the best based on the color scheme? I've also got different options. I can pick tall, big and tall, different sizes, the different fittings and everything, all within from one environment. So for this company, trying to rank for a key phrase, say associated with polo shirts, for example, is much easier because all the authority for the page is consolidated into one page. This is one of the problems you have with a lot of low-cost e-commerce stores like Shopify, easy to implement, so to get going. And if you just have a few products and you don't have lots of options between the products, stores like that, off the shelf, can work very well. If you've got a large number of products that are grouped together into collections, you can see how it doesn't make for good SEO and it doesn't make for a good purchasing experience. So there you go. The solution is pretty simple: consolidated product pages. It's a little harder to implement, requires coding. SEO nowadays is more than just keywords. It requires coding, it requires thought about the setup of the site, how the site works, how individual e-commerce pages are structured. So there's a lot more to the implementation of that, but the concept, it's actually pretty simple. So now you can probably see why, by implementing that site-wide across a large site with lots and lots of different products, we got such great results. An 18% increase in sales off the bat, an immediate boost in ranking, and tons more reviews that show up associated with those products. If you need help with your e-commerce store, give us a call at Holistic Web Presence. My name is Tim Barry. The phone number is 801-349-8226. We'd love to hear from you.